This story was posted by Lil C. Swans. Am I the asshole for quietly packing my stuff and leaving my family's house without telling anyone after my dad threatened to kick me out? I, 23, female, live at home. I am in grad school and work part-time plus intern at an office. I graduate in June and I've been applying to jobs as much as I can so I can finally move out. My sister 20 also lives at home but is doing school online and doesn't work. I try to help with chores around the house as much as possible, although it's difficult since I leave the house early in the morning and come home late at night. Last week, I came home and there were clean dishes in the dishwasher. I said I'm gonna take a quick shower then empty the dishwasher and my dad went on a rant about how I'm useless and never help around the house and that my sister is always the one doing everything. I explained that I do help and that just because they haven't seen me help doesn't mean that I don't. He asked me to give him an example and I told him that I took the garbage out the night before. The conversation escalated to him saying that I should shut up and not argue any longer because he can easily make me homeless if he wanted to. I said okay and went upstairs. The next morning while everyone was still asleep I packed my things and left and I've been sleeping in my car for a week and taking showers at my gym. Later in the day after I left my parents called and my mom texted me asking where I am when I didn't come home when I was supposed to. I didn't reply and blocked my entire family's numbers and social medias and haven't spoken to them since. They have been calling and texting my friends asking them where I am. I haven't told any of my friends that I'm sleeping in my car so I got very confused texts from friends asking me what's going on and why my parents are asking where I am and if I'm safe and okay. I told my closest friend that I left home and that I'm safe and let her know to tell my parents that I'm fine but I have no desire to speak to them anymore. They've been begging my friend to disclose my location and asking her to ask me to allow them to speak to me. I went to my friends yesterday and she told me that what I did was awful and that I should speak to them. I told her that they threatened to make me homeless so I left by my own volition but she's insisting that making them worry about my safety is a horrible thing to do but I honestly think I just gave them what they asked for. They wanted to get rid of me so I left. Am I the asshole for leaving and refusing to communicate with them? Edit. My mom was there when this happened and she was on my dad's side as well so she's aware of the incident and knows that I was threatened to be made homeless. They also said that I was most likely never going to get a job and was going to stay at home forever even though I have 2 jobs, internship is unpaid though, and I'm actively looking for a full-time job and yes they've done this before. Thanks to everyone who has given me advice I appreciate it more than you can imagine. And now to the comments. Not the a-hole but maybe talk to your local PD and let them know that if your parents try to file a missing persons report it's a waste of time because you're not missing. They threatened to kick you out for not helping so you left. Sounds like a win-win to me. Can you talk to any of your friends about staying with them while you get things together? Another commenter said. Not the a-hole Opie, just be safe as sleeping in your car can be very dangerous. There is no need to contact the local PD because even if the parents file a missing persons report Opie is 23. So at worst they find her, she says she is not missing, and they cannot tell her parents where she is anyway. The most they can legally do is tell the parents she is okay and that is it. Of course that is all contingent on her being in the US, which based on age and Opie saying she is in grad school seems like a good bet to make. Good luck Opie and stay safe. Another commenter said. Nah, the worst they can do is have all the local officers surround her, notify her parents of their location, and then forcibly drag her back home. I have some experience in this regard. It doesn't matter what is legally or morally right, just whatever a cop thinks they can get away with. Our second story was posted by Ringiiner. I'm 17 and mom's getting ready to kick me out. I'm 17, junior in high school, and my mom is threatening to kick me out the house. It all started when she accused my girlfriend of being a hoe or too fast. She claims that we are too sexual but we have done nothing of the sort. They are all assumptions. I can't even do regular relationship activities because of the harsh restrictions being placed on us just because of her fear of me having a child. She always says she trusts me but her actions do not show that. She claims my girl is disrespectful and does speak to her but every time she tries to speak mom ignores her and is in a rush to leave. My mom is the only one not on board with this. I've built a relationship with her family, it's not fair she isn't getting the same opportunity. So one night I defended her. I said the accusations were wrong and that she needed to get to know her. My brother sided with me. And Mom flipped out and kicked me out. She tried to take my phone so I could lose communication, so I ran. I stayed with my aunt for a few days and I just created a false apology to Mom to end conflict. I'm back home now and for a few days we didn't talk. But here we are again. She claims I stole her charger. I didn't. My girlfriend bought me this charger. Every time I try to tell her what is factual, rationality is thrown out the window. I need a plan to get out of this place, it's messing with my mental. She gets jealous when I vent to other people, but when I vent to her it's an issue. My aunt won't let me stay with her, which I can respect. My girl offered, but I don't want to lose the bond with Mom completely. What should I do? And now to the comments. Your mom is controlling and abusive. Now explain to me exactly why you want to keep a bond with a woman who obviously isn't interested in you or your life except to either control or abuse you. Save every dime you can and get away from her. If your brother doesn't live at home, could you move in with him or some other relative that lives near you? Get out of there and go no contact with her. OP replayed. Maybe I am crazy for thinking I can fix things with her. No, it was my little brother. And my aunt's the only person I can rely on other than my girlfriend due to so many broken bonds caused by, ironically, my mom. I blame my dad for all this. Mom was never like this before. I hope my aunt could understand my situation. She wants me to try to make things right with Mom. I don't think it'll work. Comment. Your mom is the problem, no one else caused this but her. She is jealous of your girlfriend, jealous of you being young, and it's illegal for her to kick you out. Your mom needs mental help and to be an adult. OP replayed. Right, almost like she's tearing herself apart. She's doing this to herself. I just wanted her to respect the fact that I'm growing up. Our last story was posted by FunGE Holmes. Entitled Dad Doesn't Feel the Need to Clean Up His Destructive Kid's Mess. So I have a nearly 4-year-old daughter, Frida, and our next-door neighbors have a son, Fred, the same age. Their birthdays are a week apart. The kids are best friends and love playing together, though we try to limit it a bit because they have a dynamic that gets them really rowdy and riled up. Fred is a handful, and I think his mom does her best. But Fred's dad? So whiny and entitled, it's infuriating. So the other day all the neighbors with kids got together to do a little winter bonfire in the backyard, roast marshmallows and make bread on a stick in the fire. So I got sent out to get a hold of some good sticks we could use, and I took Frida and Fred with me. We live in townhouses where there is a long row of garden plots you can rent. One of the spaces is unused and full of the branches and things people cut out of their gardens, so we head over there to grab some sticks. The kids bring a couple of toy shovels they're playing with. As I'm trying to cut branches, the kids go into the next garden plot. I know the older lady who has it, and she is always welcoming to the kids playing on her plot and is always offering them strawberries or peas from the garden, so I figured it was okay for them to play in there for a couple minutes. Well, I hear stones hitting the ground and manic laughter, so I look over and see Fred is kicking over all the bricks this lady has made a raised planter out of. Then my squealing Frida is grabbing the bricks and throwing them. I put a stop to that real fast and told them we have to rebuild the planter and that it's not okay to ruin other people's things. Fred got bored with that and found a place he could dig a hole. I told him he needed to help, but I couldn't make him. Frida helped me fix the planter and went to play with Fred when we finished. I went back into the patch of branches, cut what I needed and came back out after 3 minutes. I'd heard they were digging in some dirt and that was fine, but as I'm coming out I hear that impish, "Oh, we know we're being naughty," giggling again. I found they had dug all the gravel out of another neighbor's garden and were flinging it all over the parking lot. This time I was pissed. Had I not just told them not to ruin other people's gardens? Now we need to clean up this mess. Not okay, guys. I told Frida to run home and get the big broom and told Fred to start shoveling gravel back in place. Frida took off to fetch it. Fred sat down and resolutely informed me that I'm not his dad and he doesn't have to listen to me. I told him that when he's with me he most certainly does. Just like Frida has to listen to his parents when she's with them. Fred cries. So I call his dad and say I need reinforcements as we have a situation over here. Frida comes with the broom and I get her started shoveling. I'm sweeping and can see it's hard for her to understand why she has to help while Fred gets to sit and play with his shovel. I explain it's because Fred doesn't want to help clean up the mess they'd made but that Fred's daddy was coming to make him do the right thing too. Fred's dad shows up and I explain what's happened and that we need to get this cleaned up and fix up this planter they destroyed. But instead he goes to Fred all like, buddy, are you tired? You're acting like this because you've had a long day, pal? Do you want to go home and have a juice and watch some Paw Patrol? I'm like, after we get this mess cleaned up, right? I told the kids we need to fix this before we go back. He responds, no, it's just kids being kids. Let garden owners fix it, they won't know who did it anyway. Besides, I'm freezing out here. Aren't you cold, Fred? Let's go. Frida says she's cold too and wants to go with Fred. I told her that I was also cold but we can't just leave someone's garden in ruins or leave gravel all over. So we swept and shoveled everything back in place for 20 minutes. Frida asked about why Fred didn't have to help and got to watch TV about 15 times. I could see the cogs in her little head turning trying to reason out why she was being punished while Fred got rewarded. And I just didn't know what to say to her other than in our family we take responsibility and clean up our own messes. I had to bite my tongue and not add that Fred's dad is an entitled shit and that the apple doesn't fall far from entitlement tree. And now to the comments. You did the right thing with your daughter. The ED needs to level up. I would stop having play dates with Fred if the ED will be the parent there. You definitely don't want your child to pick up these behaviors. If Fred's mom asks why you're backing off, I would tell her. I wouldn't say anything like, because your hubby is an entitled asshole and a lazy parent. But I would gently say that you want rules and respect to be enforced and that is not always happening. Another commenter said, I think it would be a good idea to sit your daughter down and try to explain to her how Fred's behavior will get him into trouble in the future if it is never corrected. By that I mean don't just say, he'll get in trouble. I mean try to find examples you can use in the real world when he's older and his father no longer makes the rules. Answer questions about why the rules exist and what can happen if they are not followed. If you can get her to understand and sympathize with his potential victims, it might help her in refusing to join in his behavior in the future should you choose to let the play dates continue. OP. Sage advice, thanks.